Alright guys, this one's going to be a little bit of a fun article. Bit of a fun story. Because obviously Gamer Rant has gone through and done a little bit of advertising for Starfield. Because, you know, that's what the games journalists do these days. So, they've gone through and they've had this article up talking about Starfield. But here's the problem. When they originally put up the article, this was the image they used. Starfield's planet seems like an ideal advertiser avenue. So for the start, like, are we really going to go putting advertisements on a freaking planet and making money from it? Is that what they're advertising for? But, as some of you may know, when you look at that image, doesn't really look like Starfield. It kind of looks like another game that we all might be very, very familiar with. Now, obviously, like I said, they did go through later and change it. But it wasn't before the Star Citizen community realised, screen capped, and also put a link in the Wayback Machine. So we can have the lovely joy of constantly looking back and laughing. It's funny because the guy that wrote this actually has in his bio, as an avid gamer for 30 years, there aren't many consoles that Dan hasn't owned at some point. Also part Italian, which means he's almost certainly related to Super Mario when he's not here. Okay. Weird. But considering he has 30 years experience in the games industry, you think he might know what Star Citizen looks like. And obviously for the people that sit there and sort of like go like, oh, this is Gamer Rant, they don't really cover Star Citizen. Let's just do a search for Star Citizen. Boom. April 12th, April 9th, April 4th, April 1st, April 31st, April 34th, April 23rd, April 14th, April 13th, April 12th, April 11th, April 11th. Like, these are all the articles this year they've done on Star Citizen, mind you. And it keeps going. There is 9 pages of articles that they've written about Star Citizen over their time. And the first one, if you go all the way back to here, so they've got 9 pages. Let's just do a quick check. And here, the first one they actually wrote back in 2012. For the Star Citizen Wing Commander's spiritual successor may hit Kickstarter. And then obviously first Star Citizen footage, you know, and then yeah, basically just going through and just covering the. And look, you know, to be honest, look, Game Rant have been mostly good when it comes to Star Citizen. Mostly, they've been a lot more charitable than some of the other companies out there, like, you know, like Kotaku or whatever. But, you know, like, even they're sort of, you know, chase the clickbait titles and stuff like that. You know, they've gone through and, you know, but it becomes apparent that they don't know what they're necessarily talking about, because in one of these here, Star Citizen might be in trouble as it burns through its $240 million crowdfunder budget. Here's a link here. So, Star Citizen's dev gives advice for making Anthem better. Right? And after Anthem's troubled release from late February, Chris Roberts, one of the devs, or one of the developers of Star Citizen, shares his insight into how Anthem should handle the backlash. Fez, would you class Chris Roberts as a dev?
Is this a trick question?
No. Like, do you think that Chris Roberts has on his plaque on his desk CIG, game dev? Or do you think he has on his plaque on his desk Chris Roberts, CEO of Cloud Imperium Games?
Probably the second option.
Yeah, I would say so too, right? It's weird how they've labelled this as him being just a dev, Star Citizen dev. You know, like they've gone through here. There's no secret byways. Player media. Chris Roberts is now who is the director of the. Okay, yeah. So you mentioned it down here, but why didn't you have that in the title? Why did you list him as a dev? It was a little bit weird, I must admit. That's the first thing I thought was going to be weird. But anyway, but you know, like I say, they've been mostly charitable to Star Citizen in the past, but Starfield should borrow from Star Citizen's promise. So, you know, like I say, they've definitely gone through and covered both games in the past. But it's also very, very interesting that the people that write these articles apparently don't know much about what they're talking about. Because if they did, they would know that the game that they're actually talking about here isn't Starfield, it's actually Star Citizen. But I don't know, I just thought it was funny that they went to all this trouble and all this effort to sort of, you know, I don't know. And like, keep in mind too, guys, this article probably has been signed off by 2 or 3 different people. I doubt this article has just been posted by Daniel and that was it. Like, there's probably other people that have signed off on this. So how many people missed the fact that he had the wrong image? But, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Fez? Don't really care.
I just wish people would just talk about things that they actually know what they're talking about.
Well,
you know, I don't know.
If we're going to do that, we're going to probably lose half the Star Citizen community for YouTube.
But my white knights, I need them.
I was talking more about some of the YouTubers too. How many YouTubers up there have literally talked about like game dev and haven't wrote like a single line of code in their time, in their whole history?
I don't know, but I cannot tell you that there's only been 2 YouTubers who have actually used my name outside of just you.
Well, that's true.
So
it's a very, very gatekeepery sort of community. We were talking about this before, actually. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, look, everybody has an opinion. You're allowed to voice your opinion, stuff like that. I just think if you're going to also talk about game dev, at the very least, you should be able to write a line of code. Or at least, write something, but anyway. But as for this article, look, obviously I think it's funny. They did change it pretty fast, so we had to use the Wayback Machine to get it. But obviously Twitter was having an epic laugh at this. So if we go to Twitter and Star Citizen Game Rant. So, yeah. Let me just go to Star Citizen. Someone's asking about the new Port Olisar.
New Port Olisar?
Yeah.
Already?
Well, yeah, we haven't heard anything about it. Can't find anybody talking about the article anymore. But yeah, people were talking about it this morning and were having a good old laugh. Montoya was one of them who was laughing about it. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, apart from that, look, let us know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, Fez, anything you want to add? No? Right. Good time. Everybody, go subscribe to Fez's YouTube, Twitch. He got a shout out from Boyd Gamer earlier. Well done, son.
Yay, I'm famous.
Eh.
Kind of.
All hell Fez. All hell Fez. Alright, guys, those are your thoughts are in that comment section below. Apart from that, have a great night, enjoy yourself, and we'll see you in the verse. You want to say bye?
Not really.
Okay. See you guys.